This is good-ass Tekken. And this is lame-ass Tekken. Anybody who's been given the gift of eyesight will be able to easily spot the difference. And within the last couple of months or so, especially with the Tekken Season 2 patch's release, there's been a lot of players who have been straight up just being very infuriating or downright just quitting a lot of these recent fighting games. And this has even been happening for years. So much so people are saying that fighting games are dying, they're dead, blah, 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 these kinds of things. And yet at the same time, we are seeing more players playing these games than in any of the previous iterations before. More copies sold of these games than any of the previous iterations before, and record-breaking tournament entrances and whatnot than ever before. Yet still, a lot of old-school, high-level players are being infuriated and quitting in mass, not just Tekken 8, but Street Fighter 6 as well, and for a long time, Strive, to the point where almost no old-school Guilty Gear players play Guilty Gear Strive. With the only people who have been really defending these games being new and low-level players and, well, content creators who gain a living and get paid to have these new players watch their content. Oftentimes, the reason that these modern fighting games cause frustration among veteran players is very simply boiled down to things like, oh, it's not competitively viable. These mechanics like heat and drive, as well as the prominence of Oki, oftentimes undermine neutral, causing a guess into a guess into a guess until someone dies or reverses the situation, making the game, quote, random. And all three of these games have the issue of very one-sided matches that, because of this angle of faster and more aggressive gameplay, is what the developers are going for. And many people who like these games, their response is, what does it matter? I don't care. It's fun. And my response to that is simple. What the fuck is fun? Usually in gaming spaces, when people say stuff like this, the conversation ends there flat out. People will just say things like, oh, I don't care, it's fun is fun. And when you push them on this or keep attacking the game, it oftentimes easily devolves into, oh, you're gatekeeping, or you're just being negative, or I'm enjoying the game, why do you have to ruin my enjoyment? But the problem with this statement is that most people can't define fun, and fun is a very, very subjective thing. And fun is definitely very important for a video game, because isn't that the point of video games? Aren't they supposed to be fun, right? I'm not knocking that. But what exactly is fun? Is fun the amount of chemicals and dopamine being shot through our brains? Is it this sense of fulfillment after accomplishing something difficult, maybe getting a shiny rank or an achievement or completing an entire story mode or something along those lines? Is fun a combination of that, dopamine hit you get when getting, a satisfying hit or a sound effect or a reload animation or anything along those lines? This is all part of the experience, and all of these things I think are important in their own right, and it's probably a combination of these things. However, it doesn't matter what game it is, whether it be a MOBA, a hero shooter, a tactical shooter, a traditional style FPS, or a fighting game, and a fighting game of any variety, a tag fighter, traditional 2D fighter, anime fighter, or a 3D fighter. It does not matter. I believe the most important aspect of any game, or what makes a good game, is when every single match and every single round, every single game that I play feels different. It feels new. It feels fresh as possible for the longest amount of time, and that's only due to depth. Every time I boot into a new game, every time I load into a match, I should get a feeling that I'm in maybe a situation that I've never been before, seen something that I've never seen before. It should feel like there's always something more to learn, and that there is always something new and fresh within the game, and possibly even learn something throughout the course of the match or the game. This is what I would consider to be a dynamic experience, and I believe this is the most important aspect of any game, hands down, period. A good dynamic experience should always get that feeling that when they turn off the game and when they stop playing the game, that there's something more to strive for, that they haven't seen all that there is. But how do you make a dynamic experience? Simple. Options and variables. Create a game with enough depth and complexity that even people at the very highest level cannot play perfectly. There is no such thing as a perfect player. There is no such thing as a perfect game. We are human and we all make mistakes. And a lot of people like to really idealize high-level players and see them as gods that never make a mistake ever. But even people at the very, very, very highest level of play make mistakes. Probably make multiple mistakes a game or even a round. An example of this is chess, and perfect chess. This game has tons of depth, options, and variables, and it's estimated that the total possible number of games that can be played in chess are a fucking lot. This is called Shannon's number, and the point of it is to show just how complex and how many options there are within chess itself. Chess is such a complex and intricate game that even people who spend their entire lives from a young age playing chess and trying to master chess cannot play perfect chess. There is no one in the world who is capable of playing perfect chess. And this game has probably been taken more competitively and studied a lot more than any other game in the entire history of the world. It's because the skill ceiling of this game is so impossibly high that it's only capable of being reached by a computer. And fighting games are no different, especially in a game like Tekken with how many moves there are as well as characters too. There are probably even more possible games that could be played of Tekken than there are of chess. And to be fair, most of these games and these fighting games as well as chess would probably look really stupid. However, chess has been around for hundreds of years and is still being played today with no changes to the rules or the game itself. Because there's so many options and variables, with the game being so complex and there being no real perfect way to play the game, so simply it allows people to use different strategies and find different ways of playing, and the opponents attempting to measure risk-reward and try to find different ways to counter those strategies and play styles, and that going back and forth, which creates a complex game. And know what they are and aren't going for. Not if they're good, at the very least, and not always. And if you know what they're going to do, you can stop it, you can prevent it, you can counter it. However, in a good game with lots of variables and options, there's always a way to counter a counter. And that's what leads into mind games. That's what leads into a good game that's dynamic, that keeps you wanting to always come back. But the problem with a lot of these modern fighting games is that you know what they're going to do, and there's not a lot you can do about it. A level of anticipation as well as prediction is not only important in a video game, but as well as in, media in general. If the ending punchline or twist to a movie or a TV show or a stand-up comedy sketch or a joke is predictable and something that you know is coming from like the very get-go, it kind of sullies the point of it, right? Same thing with spoilers. If people spoil a movie or a TV show or anything along those lines, it sullies the point of it. Oftentimes the best jokes or endings are something you don't see coming, something that comes out of left field, where it gives you time to build up and think what's coming next, to have that anticipation, and to allow you to predict what is happening. But a big problem with these modern fighting games is I know what they're going to do. I know that they're going to press a big button to heat dash, or raw drive rush into low forward or stand fierce, or fuck it, I'm just going to press a big button into drive rush, and then now I'm guessing. And then, what if I take a throw? I know they're going to drive rush after I tech. What can I do? Well, drive rush first. And in both of these games, I just guess, and I guess, and I guess, and I guess, with throw loops and everything being plus or giving Oki. Both in Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 have the same issues. You guess and guess and guess and guess until you either die or you can reverse the situation, especially in the release of Street Fighter 6, where you had like moronic shit. Like Capcom thought it was a good idea to let Ken and Cammy get Oki off EXDP. And when the game is in such a shitty state as that, the geniuses at Capcom wash their hands and hang up their hat and go, well, I hope you enjoy the game as is. See you next year. And you got people undeniably glazing this game for this whole time. And even though a lot of these things have been changed and the game is quote unquote gotten better, it's going in the right direction, guys, because it's always fucking going in the right direction, right? Even with this, these things are still a problem. Heat is still a problem in Tekken 8. Street Fighter 6, Drive is still a problem in Street Fighter 6. Throw loops still exist in Street Fighter 6. These games are still one-sided and snowbally in a lot of the matches. These games oftentimes have very, very little neutral, a lot less than previous iterations of the same franchise. And the thing is something like Drive Rush will almost always be a problem because you have so many people just unapologetically glazing the shit out of this mechanic in this game, and it will likely never be fixed. And mechanics like this will likely be the standard for Street Fighter and probably fighting games going forward. And that's why Tekken 8 has Heat Dash, right? It's copy my homework, but don't make it too obvious. It was obvious from the very beginning, yet the only reason people didn't like it over Street Fighter 6 is because it's not Street Fighter 6. And there's just so many people who are just going to glaze these games' obvious poor decisions that hurt not only the competitive integrity of the game, but the longevity, the depth, and the dynamic experience of the game, just unapologetically, no matter what. And no matter what argument you make or what you say, there's a very simple answer to all of this. Bait used to be believable. That's it. That's all I have to engage you in. Bait used to be believable. We're done here. Nobody in their right mind could ever even imagine that Street Fighter 6 is a bad game. If you think so, you're just being negative. People are just always negative about the newest thing. Bait used to be believable. That kind of thing. And it's not even worth engaging in people who try to defend this game. It's such a massive, massive waste of time, because everyone who defends this game are either low-level players who have no idea what you're even talking about in the first place, or they're, well, getting paid. They get paid to have people watch their content, and if people aren't playing the game, they're not going to watch their content. Their livelihood depends on the longevity of this community and the game, and if the game's shit and nobody plays it, then nobody's going to watch their content, and they have no more livelihood. I don't know why we're in 2025 and this is a thing that people can't grasp or get their fucking head around. But a lot of issues with Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 were pretty much the same exact issues with Street Fighter 5, which is probably one of, if not the most negatively received games of all fighting game history, probably with its only contender at this point being, well, Tekken 8. Nobody likes seeing the same things over and over again. How many people like seeing the same moves? This is why something like balancing is so important. When a character has the same strategy, or even worse, has one move that is way stronger than everything else, which allows a player to be able to spam a specific move over and over and over again, it causes frustration. And this is a big thing that irritates low-level to beginner players, as oftentimes they don't shut things down properly. As oftentimes they don't shut down different options due to, well, not knowing how to deal with it, or a lack of experience, or just failing to recognize the reaction check there, or whatever you might have, right? When a character or a player is capable of doing the same thing, and you know what they're going to do, you know that they're going to do it, whether or not it is a legitimate strategy or not, it is irritating if somebody is able to beat you with one move, or the same couple bag of tricks. To many people, it feels undeserved, gimmicky, right? Like they're putting in a lot less effort than you are to get the same or better results. And that's why counterplay is so important. And in a lot more modern fighting games, there is counterplay to things that can be spammed. And when you can properly counter the spammed move, then they will have to change that option and stop using it and find a different option, which in a proper game can also be countered, leading to a counter, into a counter, into a counter of that counter, where in resulting, people use multiple strategies and multiple different moves, resulting in, once again, a dynamic experience. But what if there's no counter to that move or ability? Among the millions of different issues that Street Fighter V had on its release, its by far biggest one was V-Trigger, more specifically V-Trigger Cancel, which could allow you to just, well, force 50-50s, and especially with a lot of the better V-Triggers, force people into multiple guesses and kill them before they even get a chance to get their V-Trigger. The problem with this is, for the most part, V-Trigger is given by taking damage. So the big complaint here is that you are being rewarded for losing. That it is more beneficial to lose and get your V-Trigger before the enemy so that you can, well, force them into a bunch of guesses and then kill them before they can get their V-Trigger. When you get your V-Trigger meter full, in a lot of situations, they know it's coming. They know that you're going to do whatever you're going to do and run your flowchart with it, and oftentimes there's not a lot they can do about it. Once again, leading into the same issues that these modern fighting games have. V-Trigger is far too strong, being able to rob somebody before they get a chance to use theirs back. However, the big difference here between this and Tekken 8 is that Tekken 8, you start the round with heat. It is an innate part of the game that you can get off a heat engager or from a heat burst, and for Street Fighter 6, well, it is the game. The whole game is forcing guesses. Street Fighter 6 is dice rolly, it's inconsistent, it is inherently random and gambly, and so is Tekken 8. And that's the problem with these games. It's all because of this idea of aggressiveness and faster equals better, which in turn is cutting out, or at the very least, reducing neutral to an absolutely disgusting degree. And a lot of people, especially low-level casual players or people who don't even really play fighting games, have this false conception that what fighting games are about and what fighting games are big combos and hitting the other guy, and when nobody's hitting each other, then nothing is happening. And I just want to get, quote, straight into the mind games, and that neutral actively impedes your ability to play the game. However, that's the big issue there. Neutral is the fucking game. Without neutral, there is no fighting games. These are not fighting games. No neutral, no game. Neutral is the building blocks of the strategy that the game is promoting. It's the whole point of it. Without neutral, it's nothing but hype moments and aura. But when every single round, every single match is hype moments and aura, then nothing's hype moments and aura. It's just a fucking slideshow. It's a glorified art gallery that you spend, maybe 10 hours in total. You look at all the cool animations, you look at all the cool characters, you jerk off to all the characters on the roster, you buy the cool new battle pass with the Mai skin with her titties out, her big sweaty jiggly titties out, and then you leave. That's the game. That's the experience. That's what they're trying to cultivate. Every single game is supposed to be some super cool, awesome, epic Twitter clip that feels like the same experience over and over and over again. So many games feel the same, one after another, and the game gets not only bland and stale, but fucking repetitive. You see the same interactions over and over. You know what they're going to do, but there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Somebody is always holding somebody else's nuts, holding somebody else's mix-ups, and a 50-50 or a big combo is not something that you earn, but it is something that is expected. That is the whole game. The whole game is just 50-50s and big combos. And from the outside looking in, it looks really cool. It looks really awesome. These games look really flashy with their big combos and whatnot, where everybody's always hitting each other and whatnot. And that's the point. That's something that these game devs will not compromise, is especially the big combos. And we can see this within Tekken 8, because that's something that they refuse to remove. These games have like 30-second long goddamn combos, and their solution to the long ass combos that take like 50% or more of your health is not reduce the length of the combos or anything, but to increase health. That is something that they are not willing to compromise, is the length of the combos, because they like that. They like how flashy and cool it looks, because everything is just a superficial experience to get people to spend mommy's credit card so they can buy the game, jerk off to all the females, and then leave. And when you play these games for a long enough time, the wins start to feel hollow and undeserved. And the losses feel fucking terrible because they're undeserved. There's no ups and it's only downs. But it doesn't matter, because the only people who defend these games are people with little to no experience. People who aren't playing the games, or better yet, they're people with no other monetizable skills, and it is their literal fucking job to play and to get other people to play and watch their content on these games. And the only reason Street Fighter 6 has ever been in higher regard than either Street Fighter 5 or Tekken 8 is because objectively, the game looks, feels, and sounds amazing. I mean, the soundtrack is great, the aesthetic is great, the characters all look great, all the animations look great. There is not a single flaw you can see within its presentation, but the gameplay sucks straight fucking ass, dude. Everything about this game is presented beautifully to the T. And I mean, look at this. Not only is this song absolute straight fire, but that is the Method Man as the Luke from these streets. How can I not want to go and play Street Fighter 6 after listening to this song? Oh, yes, that's why. And anything you can say about Street Fighter 5, you can say about Street Fighter 6 tenfold, right? But at least I had to get down to low health, or they had to get down to low health before I had to hold their nuts. Now in Street Fighter 6, rounds start out the gate, I gotta hold their nuts, and I gotta guess. And if I guess right, then they gotta hold my nuts. And it's just gonna keep going until somebody dies. But the whole argument is, it's getting better, guys. It's going in the right direction, with excuse after excuse after excuse. And when these fighting games have just objectively become less dynamic, less playable, less competitively viable, and overall less fun if you want to spend more than 2 minutes playing the game. But that doesn't matter. To the average person, they probably don't even spend more than 50 hours in the game. And at the end of the day, I've always been of the opinion and of the thought that, whatever, fine. If that's what the devs want to do, that's what the devs want to do. If they want to make a game geared towards casuals and a more casual audience that's only supposed to be a game that you're supposed to play for, a couple hours and just haha, goofy, silly, have fun, look at the animations, just turn the game into more on combat, fine. That's what they want to do. Whatever. I'll just go and I'll leave and I'll play a different game. I'll just play a different game. Why not? Why should I get upset? Why should I lose my beautiful hair or get wrinkles in my skin over a bad game? Why don't I just go and play a different one? But now, at the point we're at now, there are no more different ones. Every game is a 10 to 20 hour experience. Every fucking game, you're supposed to go in, play for 10 minutes, jerk off, and buy the battle pass. That's everything now. I have seen community after community after community fall to the same problems. Overwatch, R6, same fucking thing, same fucking issues, and then and over and over and over again, all these other things, and even games I don't even play, just things that I've heard everywhere has the same fucking problems. Everything's a casual come dump experience, and there is no more games you're supposed to play for more than 10 hours. That doesn't exist anymore. Everything is a 10 to 20 hour experience, and now I'm playing fucking Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Is that what you want? Is that what you want me to do? You want me to play fucking Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge? edge again. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I hate myself this fucking much? I've packed up and left community after community after community, and I've seen the same issues over and over again, and dumb fucking affiliate marketers glazing the same shit, using the same goddamn talking points over and over, and it's driving me insane. I'm gonna break. Constant hyper-casualization and trying to reach a broader audience and shitting on any kind of uniqueness or strategy or complexities that these games ever even have in the first place to achieve what is I can only call the imaginary casual audience that's going to stick around and play the game, but they're not going to stick around and play your game because they're going to go play Fortnite or Marvel Rivals instead. And who do I have to blame? I don't know. It's capitalism. It's always capitalism. Every single problem in my life is because of capitalism, because I'm completely incapable of taking accountability for myself or my own actions, and every single thing that has ever gone wrong in my life is due to a broader, bigger systemic issue that I have no control over whatsoever, and it's fucking Sajam's fault. It's Sajam, the abstract concept of capitalism, and Sajam DP'd my girlfriend, and I'm not talking about dragon punches here when I say DP. They DP and violated my girlfriend right in front of me. So fuck you. Fuck you, Sajam. Fuck you, capitalism. I hate it. So like and subscribe, or you're a byproduct of capitalism, and I'll kill you.